And today we have Abdellah from the Hamilton area sharing some insights in the market.
Just despite, everybody thinking the world's ending is, we're still up 25% from March of 2020, essentially when, before COVID made its entry, and some commercial opportunities here. This one is a portfolio sale. The investor is now wanting to take, and we've agreed to take a kind of a portfolio sale approach to it. 14 residential, 3 commercial. Between all 17 doors is bringing in about $332,000 in yearly gross income, with tons of lift, especially with the McNabb and Macaulay Street properties.
Hello YouTube, welcome back to the Canadian Real Estate Channel. My name is Ed Hervias, multifamily investor and longtime friend of the channel. And today we have Abdellah from the Hamilton area sharing some insights in the market and future opportunities for you to keep an eye on. Abdellah, how are you today?
I'm good, Ed. Nice to meet here, and
likewise.
Look forward to throwing out some content here as usual. So we'll go through some stats. Talk about some current rental numbers, some passive investments, and then a couple large scale opportunities from our end. So ready when you are, my friend.
All right, let's do it, man. Looking forward to it.
Awesome. Perfect, guys. So as always, just starting with our freehold stats and just kind of showing the viewers the month-to-month change in the median sale price for all freehold sales. So we're actually up now, January to February, as everybody can see there. And now kind of looking back at February 2022, where we saw, the absolute apex of it all before the government intervened, right, with interest rates here. So obviously a huge regression there, down 22% year over year. To nobody's surprise, and we've had a few months now and then some to kind of get stabilized here and really take in what the lending climate is. The other thing we always kind of like to point out, just despite everybody thinking the world's ending is, we're still up 25% from March of 2020, essentially when before COVID made its entry, and really didn't start a full-on spike till probably the fall there of 2020. But if we're just comparing essentially the February-March of 2020 compared to today, we're still up huge on the median side, right? So just to give everybody the kind of silver lining, really depending on your situation and pending the side of the transaction that you're on. But like we always say, we'd love the viewers to get involved and throw out some guesses as to what the March median price is going to be in Hamilton for freehold stats, and we'll see what it turns out to be next month.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing what's going to happen in March for sure.
Yeah, awesome, Ed. Yeah, so we'll it's boots on the ground here. Where I think everybody's kind of slowly hearing it that the market is starting to pick up on the sales activity side for sure. You can win on both sides depending on your situation and pricing strategy for sure, but the confidence has definitely set in and continues to do so. And now we're just looking at our stats here across the board between detached, semi-D, row homes, apartments. Again, there's fortunately not an incredible amount to really highlight as we're coming out of the hottest part that we saw throughout COVID in comparison to today, right? It's what we liked and what we pulled out of this whole jumble of data is basically sales activity declined across all property types in February. That's been the case now for a while. Months of supply reduced across the detached, semi-detached, and row sectors. However, apartment condominiums saw a modest gain compared to January. We're going to touch on that later on in the video today. And benchmark prices rose over the last month across all property types, except apartment condominiums, which essentially have their own market. And detached homes saw the largest year-over-year adjustment at nearly 24%. So again, taking that away is just the stabilization has been here for at least a month, in my opinion, in the Hamilton market. And obviously now, depending on where these rates go, and you hear, obviously that the fixed rates are to come down, yet to see anything on the variable side. I know the states just made their announcement, so we'll see how we follow suit there. But I mean, I like to take it month by month and give everyone a kind of a snapshot of today's market. There is confidence for sure. I think these numbers, I'm not saying at all that they're just going to keep rising in comparison to the month over month between January and February. But as long as there's no turbulent adjustment with the interest rates, we're going to start to see this kind of carry on throughout the spring market for sure.
And how are you finding your clients speaking with you in March and throughout March? Are you finding it more activity than February? People more interested? Are you going out more? How's that looking?
Yeah, I would say so. Just kind of not just myself, but our sales team and our brokerage. I think you can just being in the office, more hustle and bustle, it's more conversation. There's definitely it's slowly creeping, I'd say, week by week, and the amount of conversations you have to have now. There's a lot of planning going on right now. Mm-hmm. So I think the majority of the population, it's seeped in, and now it's like, okay, how do we move forward? What does the pricing look like? And it's all about the conversation, right? I had a long appointment with some clients of mine on Saturday, and there's basically the time commitment that is needed right now, right? Because if you price it right in Hamilton, it will fly off the shelf. I cannot stress that enough right now. But yeah, me personally, our team, just having a conversation with one of our agents, a couple nights ago through text, and him feeling that a lot of people are coming back to the table and now see the light, right? So yeah, slowly but surely, Ed, for sure.
Sounds great, man. Sounds great.
And then we're just going to jump into some further stats here, guys, in terms of sales activity, inventory, months of supply, aka your absorption rate, and then your average days on market. Again, the average days on market is a little skewed because it does take into effect stale listings and the relist, right? It's not simply your fresh days on market. So February closed out with 464 sales in the Hamilton Burlington region, 40% less than the same time the previous year. Sales did improve for lower priced properties, but it's not enough to offset the declines occurring for homes priced above $800,000. So that's been a common theme for sure. You're talking 500 to 700, where I think a lot of people have now been kind of, regressed back into with the new interest rates and having to requalify at lower price points. So you're seeing a huge rush into that price sector. And then new listings relative to sales prevented significant monthly inventory gains. And then while inventory levels are 128% higher than last year's record low, they are still below levels reported at this time of year. So essentially, the crisis last year was inventory, right? It was all-time low, and that was sincerely what that was a huge cause of what happened, right? So it's any number you see here is not going to be mind-blowing, in my opinion. That's essentially what we should be seeing as we normalize, especially now, entering the spring market. And that month's supply has come down huge as well, where we saw upwards of 4 weeks of, 4 months of supply, maybe even, 2-3 videos ago. So it's nice to see that kind of regulate as well. Another indicating factor.
And that average days on market, I know you said it's a little bit skewed, but for an average single family home or a duplex, is that normal for the Hamilton area?
At 31.2 days on market, I would tell it's a little high in comparison to what we've seen even pre-pandemic. But again, to me, it's I say this and I beat a dead horse with it. We were in a sector there, coming out of the spring last year throughout the course of the entire year, where people had to start up here because it sincerely didn't know, right? And you're basically just chasing the market at that point. So that's where that kind of higher number was created, in my opinion. But I think it's closer. If you took out all the outliers, it'd be closer to about 2.5 weeks on market as opposed to a full month.
Okay.
And we started this table a couple of videos ago as well. I think it's beyond important, obviously, especially with the amount of investors that we deal with, being on this channel and trying to give the best value possible, not just strictly talking about the resale side, but this is an extremely important part of an investor's journey, right? Is what are those rents going to look like? That dictates basically everything with the burst strategy, right? So, and I go out and say, like, the three bed component there, we actually felt it here, just as realtors, moving these units for a lot of our investors. Like, didn't even have to look at the table, and we could see that there was a huge drop in the desire for 3-bed, right? In the demand for 3 beds. Even speaking with a lot of our Airbnb arbitrage partners, and a particular partner of mine that I deal with daily, who are clients and friends, that simply just that was a huge kind of hedge. Obviously, everybody knows in Hamilton now that they're starting to lay down the law in terms of limitations behind Airbnb. But those are the first kind of bed composition that we saw take a hit for sure on the 3-bed side. And you can see that with the kind of the lowest percentage year over year. One bed's still very healthy. 2 beds sitting around $2,100. So just for everybody out there that's in the middle of a renovation, looking to project, these are what you're looking at in terms of numbers. Bachelors you could put up at in and around $1,400, $1,300, depending on the finishes as well and functionality. But essentially something that you can use if you're currently going through a project and coming up to the tail end, getting closer to that appraisal.
Excellent.
And this one, more of the same. I want to use this slide to basically just hone in on something that truly I haven't been an investor in that space, except down in the U.S. But the condo market, and I touched on this earlier in our conversation, Ed, where this is depending on where you are on your investment journey and then the type of capital and risk tolerance you have. We got a lot of our investors that have a little bit more experience that are pivoting to the commercial lending and the commercial side of things. Whereas, if you're entry level and aren't ready to take that leap of faith just yet into, say, an entry level duplex conversion, condos are, depending on what your goals are, condos are always a great way to get into the market, right? Obviously they're tough to cash flow on with condo fees. Especially you do have to be a little bit more careful in Hamilton here. We do have a lot of older condo buildings that have reserve funds that need some work. But that just goes along with doing a little bit more research. We have a huge influx of new condos that are coming into Hamilton. Endless amount of new developments that I could talk about for days here, but there's a ton of condo opportunities here in Hamilton. So not something that I typically speak about, but I think we have to kind of broaden our mindset here and make sure that we can offer offer some value to all different types of investors, and not just ones that are looking to convert into legal units. So it's obviously we saw a bit of an uptick in that chart earlier in the conversation, and this gives you a look at the lowest regression across the board, which is always going to be the norm, condo versus freehold, which leads us into our next kind of slide here, the AmeriCorps developments here in Hamilton. So an agent of ours here, Karine Skiba, she's the one that's overseeing all these condo sales. They are 2 addresses. So there's about 30 units left that are slowly being converted. Condo fees are in the high 200s, low 300s. They basically cover everything but hydro. So it's really all encompassing. So you're not dealing with any other cost there. Gives you kind of a sense of what the finishes look like. One bed opportunities and 2-bed opportunities. You can see the price range for both, and as well projected rents. Again, these aren't cash flowing vehicles. They shouldn't be unless you get into a very unique position. But again, tons of inventory available, guys. If anybody out there is interested in a condo type of investment, you can drop us a message there, or reach out to us, and I'm sure we'll talk about how to contact us at the end here. But just a little bit of a different angle on things, and just kind of putting this presentation together. I thought this would bring some value to some investors that are looking to get their feet wet here.
And for those who are not familiar with the Hamilton area, what's their location like compared to the downtown core?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I took the words out of my mouth. So this is in Westdale, so lower West End, higher end area for sure. Nice and close to McMaster University, Columbia College, that whole Main West scene as well, Westdale Village. So traveling proximity is very close. Could be great for a grad student, let's say. But it'll bring a wealth of different tenant profiles for sure. But it's in an A+ area, so it's be no concern about the neighborhood.
Excellent. And close to the GO station 401 QEW.
Yeah, the 403.
403, sorry.
So you can branch off to Toronto from there, to Brantford as well. What the West GO Harbor? No, it's definitely a little bit east off of James North, but within strikeable distance for sure. So yeah, in terms of accessibility, it's placed well for sure. Commuters, I'm sure that's where you're going with that, Ed. So definitely one that would come in handy for any Toronto end users that'd rather have a Hamilton price point and that can commute without kind of losing their mind there, more or less.
Definitely. No, the price point makes sense, especially for somebody, even not necessarily an investor, but somebody starting out. $460K for 2 bedrooms, close enough to getting on that 403, connects you to everything.
For sure. Yeah, there's a huge condo investment scene in Hamilton, which is, again, something that I've never spoken about on any of these videos, but looking to kind of, offer some more information here.
Fantastic.
And we're back to the Hamilton zoning. So I've left this one in just because of our, just how passionate we are about this certain zoning and what it allows for, and how it could be an absolute game changer for live and rent people, for your investors. It doesn't matter. It's what Hamilton has allowed you to do now, and I can't stress this enough to the viewers. We had our second investment and conversion investment tour a couple weeks ago. It was a great turnout. So want to thank everybody for joining us. If you're listening today, with our partners at 555 Construction and Deck Inc. And Reveal Media as well. So we basically toured 4 properties that day. A duplex conversion with the garage suite, which we'll touch on again today, as well as a bit of a different strategy where the main floor was done, and trying to kind of illuminate the fact that, hey, you don't need a giant budget with these now triplex conversion detached garages. If you know, it depends, right? If you have the budget and you're able to do main floor, basement, garage, all the power to you. And we showed as well that if you do find kind of an already turnkey main floor, and you can focus on the other two components, that's another strategy as well. And price points seem to always line up, especially with the all brick bungalows on the mountain. But more or less, Ed, with this one is just trying to convey the importance and how one could essentially take one parcel and work on it for 2 years to get it up to a 4-unit strategy, depending obviously on what you have. And what we're doing as well is trying to think outside the box, is going up to our previous investors, going to homeowners that aren't so much educated about this sector, and trying to work backwards. I already have the asset. I've owned it forever. How much equity do you have that you can tap into to intensify the land that you currently live on, right? So we're trying to hit both angles in that sense.
And for those who haven't maybe seen the previous video, this is something you facilitate for your customers.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we'll touch on that near the end of the video as well. You know, everybody here's the one-stop shop, but you know, I'd like to think we do it differently. We're not ones to take. We take on quality projects. We have different avenues on the investment side. So especially with our construction company, we really put an emphasis on time and execution. But yes, between the construction company and our partners on the engineering and planning side, this is absolutely something we can facilitate from acquisition until you get your first and last, essentially. And even beyond that, on my front, you know, we're always here to help with any sort of, you know, kind of unknown tenant issues, which we're always confident that it won't happen too often, but life is such. But yeah, absolutely, from beginning to end, A to Z, we have you covered across the board.
Excellent.
And then we just wanted to, this is more just not necessarily as an ad, but as a showcase of, you know, and pride behind one of the first converted garage suites in Hamilton, done by 555 Construction Management. I was part of the acquisition, fortunately, as well, and same planning with decking. So this one is on the West Mountain, close to Mohawk College. So it sits about roughly 600 square feet finished. But if you walked into it, you really wouldn't feel like that at all. 9-foot ceilings. This one went without disruption, very smooth with planning and putting a bow on it. So we're just, you know, very proud. We want to highlight the fact of how feasible these are in Hamilton, and to be a part of the first few that had a permit closed on it. You know, is something that we're very proud of. And this one, we have it listed at $2,350 plus hydro. Again, it's got a little terrace in behind it as well. You can get on the link, the 403, in no time flat. And again, Mohawk College is basically two streets over.
Excellent. That looks a lot bigger than the 600 square feet.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you'd be if you're ever down in Hamilton, I'd let me know.
All right, for sure, man. Definitely.
It's definitely more than meets the eye. And then we're going to jump into some commercial opportunities here. This one is a portfolio sale. You might have seen a couple of these kind of individually in other videos. The investor is now wanting to take, and we've agreed to take a kind of a portfolio sale approach to it. You know, especially with a creative kind of commercial lending scenario. So 14 residential, 3 commercial. The mixed use ones are all along the King Street corridor where the LRT will be present sooner or later. The two fourplexes between McNabb Street, North and Macaulay Street West are in highly desirable areas. Tons of upside, especially on Macaulay with the storm thrower to the harbor front. And as you can see there, it's between all 17 doors is bringing in about 332 grand in yearly gross income, with tons of lift, especially with the McNabb and Macaulay Street properties. And it gives an investor diversity here. Some great rents with the King Street properties as well. Just looking over the rent roll yesterday before we put this all together. But for all you investors that are looking to pivot into something larger scale, I'd love to have the opportunity to bring this to light and talk details a little bit more. If you're interested, of course, leave us a comment below. But something that we're motivated to get across to an investor for sure. But all have their upside. So nothing here that can't be that doesn't have some juice to squeeze.
And Abdellah, for potential investors here, do you regularly find these portfolio options available, or do you focus
on the portfolio side and actually kind of bringing it together? Not so often. Obviously, we have we're thankful to have a great database of investors that that have large portfolios. Don't necessarily kind of bring it all together when they sell. Just this particular investor, they've been long-time investors, very savvy, and as with anybody, right? It's time to exit some of the portfolio and get into some new projects. But this is kind of the first time I sat down with him and we trying to think things through in terms of how we could project this opportunity, and we felt this was the best way to bring different assets within a portfolio for an investor here. Last slide before we jump into the end here. This is one of our listings. I have this one co-listed with my friend Jennifer Cradle at Keller Williams Complete Realty. Multiple exit strategies here for sure. So 902 Main Street East, very busy part of the Main Street corridor, again, where the LRT will eventually lie. The business itself is very unique in a sense that it's not just simply the car wash that yields an income. There's an ATM on site, a chip truck that rents back to the owners of the land. Just with any car wash, you got to pay for air, for vacuums as well. So it's got a variety of different income generators. Almost 20,000 square feet. This lot's 130 by 150. From a car wash perspective, the Tim Hortons directly across the street. Pardon me. And just to add to the foot traffic that comes there naturally, it's Gageview Car Wash, so it's a very well-known business, especially in the downtown core. Very well maintained. And as with everything, right, there's always needs to be a different angle. This one being Zone C2, without a zoning amendment to something that you could build on large scale up to the residential side. You're able to go up 3 floors here with 50,000 square feet, as long as the main floor is kept commercial. And for any investor who is looking to develop this parcel will be developed at some point, whether it's for the upcoming purchasers or 5 years down the road. The stars are aligning here with the LRT, the need for density, the size of the parcel, the feasibility. It's a great development play, and why not make a considerable amount of income through the car wash business while you dive into your planning process for sure. So, and the current cap rate here is at 7.32% at its current listing of 2.5 million. So pretty unique one here. Super pumped to be a part of it. Again, anybody in the commercial space, there's a lot of unique investors out there the last few years looking for car washes and storage facilities alike. Again, if anybody was interested, you can, of course, reach out to us or drop us a comment there.
Fantastic. And just out of curiosity, what else is around that area? Is it mostly commercial? Is it more?
Yeah, so the Main Street corridor, Ed, client of mine owns a 12-plex nearby as well. It's very eclectic, very eclectic. Okay. It's not just strictly one or the other, residential, commercial, commercial to residential conversions, vice versa. Obviously, you can see the apartment building in behind. Yeah. St. Clair neighborhood's in behind you. Very astute neighborhood as well. Beautiful homes in behind there. A lot of multifamilies. Gage Park is a walk away as well. That's all been revitalized. Multi-million-dollar injection there by the city. There's really just a lot going on. A lot of hustle and bustle, and to me, an outstanding opportunity for sure.
Excellent.
So this one, we're going to flip the script here. Usually, it's we're always trying to do our best to bring opportunities to viewers. We're going to work backwards this time, and with the amount of investors that I've had the pleasure of speaking with over the last couple of years, being a contributor on this channel, the amount of conversations and knowing who does watch these episodes, asking the viewers, were us personally, if you ever thought of offloading a property, or had something that needed a lot of work that you didn't want to take on yourselves, and again, we're selling for that reason. We're always looking for opportunities, not so much for us personally, but for our network here, especially for out-of-town investors that own here in Hamilton. I'd like to say there's a lot of opportunity with the R1 zoning, and hopefully we can help some people better intensify their current properties that they've owned for years. But again, we have buyers looking for all these different types of assets here: turnkey duplexes, triplexes, any conversions up to 4 units, and our bread and butter, the Hamilton all brick bungalow with a detached garage. And again, just trying to create a back and forth here, right? If people have some stuff to offload off there, we've always got people looking for sure. And the last couple of slides here, Ed, just to convey our appreciation with our trusted partners for, without 555 Construction Management, Deck Inc., we wouldn't be able to take projects to the finish line so smoothly. So I always like to show appreciation for them. And lastly, running the Madge Realty Group, we do run a brokerage here as well, with Revel Hamilton Central. So we're always looking for like-minded individuals to join our brokerage. If you're in the investment world, it's a plus. It's not a necessity. We currently have 20 licenses sitting with our brokerage and counting, and always looking to grow with great talent. So, and that's it for me, my friend.
That's fantastic. Thank you very much for the insights in Hamilton. For anybody watching, it's definitely beneficial working with somebody who is an investor and knows how to position investment properties. A lot of people who want to offload these triplexes, fourplexes, they just find a family friend or somebody who may just a local realtor. But it really goes a long way to find somebody who's actively investing, knows how to position it, knows how to structure a particular deal, and get you the best for your property. So definitely contact Abdellah and the team for that.
Awesome. Thanks, Ed. Appreciate it. Always a pleasure trying to create value here for the viewers.
All right, man. We'll see you again. Thanks for dropping by. Take care.
Awesome. Thanks, Ed.
Bye-bye.